Time's yours.
You guys ready? All right. Hey, everybody. Welcome to episode 2 of the Birdgang fucking chat from the Dickbird Nest. And we couldn't do it last week due to conflicting work schedules. So today we're going to go over a little bit of last week and then talk about the debacle that was the other day. So right off the bat, last week I think was kind of like, you could kind of consider that like a little bit of a wash, because what are you going to do when your whole fucking offensive line, all your offense goes out within the first quarter? Right, you guys, you feel free to just jump in. This isn't like, I'm not going to go, Mike.
I thought you had more to go on. Sorry.
No, nope, that was it.
You're running this thing. You just got to point at somebody.
Yeah. Well, like when I point at you, it's not you on your screen, though.
So last week, I think they actually played as well as they could have last week with everything that happened. And I know that like I think we beat this next man up thing to death. And I don't think that was a situation where that can necessarily happen. See, like in the championship year, it was like somebody going down, like they were staggered, like you had a chance to get a new guy in before the next guy went down. But that game, everybody just went out at the same time. It was crazy. So basically the whole game plan went to hell. So I really kind of think they hung in there. And the fact that they almost came back and won, I mean, there's no moral victories in the NFL, but I think they did as well as they could have.
Yeah.
Bill,
Yeah, I'll tell you, I struggled watching that game, mostly because, I mean, we've seen it. Where's Fletcher Cox at? I know he's there. We see him, but what exactly is he doing? The goal line stance, he's getting, the last few games, he's getting shoved off that line like he's a chump. There's something there. I don't know what it is. I don't know if he's hurt, if he's still trying to recover, if he's just trying. But he is struggling, and he looks hurt. But honestly, you're going against Julio Jones, Calvin Ridley, Mohamed Sanu, and you're going to go cover 0 with the game on the line. I have watched Matty Ice. I have drafted Matty Ice. I know that he's going for the home run every single time. And you do not leave without any safety help over the top when you're playing Julio Jones in the game on the line. That's just that to me was like, all right, as soon as I saw that lineup, cover 0, no safety help, they're not getting pressure, that ball's coming out quick. They made a block, they made a play, game over. I mean, you could say no Alshon, you could say no Deshaun, you could say drops left and right, and it is what it is. But that defensive front right there and that play showed me everything that I am afraid of, that I was afraid of, and that I'm scared we're still going to see the rest of the year.
I agree with your assessment of the play, but the only thing that was going on was he was bombing it all game, and Jim Schwartz was kind of playing a little conservatively with the line, and then he realized that he needed to start blitzing. And once he started blitzing, I feel like they started getting a couple sacks and a couple pressures and some hurried throws and stuff. So he just felt like he had to stick to that the entire rest of the game. So it was almost like a pick your poison kind of thing. Like, yes, you can't do that all the time because they are eventually going to burn you. And unfortunately, they got burnt at the wrong time. But, had they been hanging back, they really weren't getting any pressure with the front four, which was sad too. And, it's only a matter of time. You give any quarterback, even a bad quarterback, 4 or 5 seconds back there, he's going to eventually find somebody open.
Yeah, I mean, that play was a quick screen, right? And if you play off, you know what Julio brings, and you play how you've been playing him all game, yeah, you're going to give up the first down. It's going to happen, but you're not giving up that home run play. But to see that happen, to see Julio get his touchdown, the Wentz to bring him right back, and Aguilar's like gator arm it, that's up there. That hurts too.
Yeah, that was a bummer, dude. And you know what? And he had the dropsies a couple seasons ago before the Super Bowl season, and then he came back and had a real awesome season during the Super Bowl year. So it was kind of a bummer to see him regress a little bit. And you think maybe that just happens to everybody. And I don't know that it was an alligator arm as much as, well, maybe he was looking. You're right. He looking.
He saw the safety. Yeah, you could see his eyes moving. But
you hoped it was just a one-off, and that was all it was going to be. Then it just continued into the last week, which was a bummer to see.
Yeah.
Sean, you want to jump in?
Oh, yeah, 1 second. Sorry.
Jesus Christ!
He's trying to find his notes that Kristen wrote down.
No, I read my own notes this time. She's not home. But, yeah, I mean, Aguilar, he totally saw somebody coming after him. He got hit that one time in the end zone, and he got scared again. And that's been his problem since Atlanta. And even last year, I'm never really a big fan of him, but I don't know. He sucks.
I don't think he sucks.
I mean, look, he's better than anybody. You know, he's one of the best receivers we have right now because of injuries.
Right now,
But now that they're targeting basically cover Ertz, who they're going to throw to is Aguilar. You know, you only have 2 people really cover, and then you got these rookies coming in who are rookies. They haven't had reps with Wentz yet, and they're coming there trying, but they just can't catch the ball. They're not experienced enough, you know. So of course he's just, you know, mistakes are going to happen, and it could be something else could have happened where we were up like 30-7, and he dropped the ball. We wouldn't even be talking about this, but because it was a game-winning catch, that's all we could talk about, you know.
But you got to make those catches.
Yeah, you do.
You
So
definitely.
it's funny that you brought up the backups and the rookies playing. Like at the end of the first half when McCown had to come in, you saw instantly that game changed right there. And I'm not saying that McCown should have been the starter or he should have played the whole game, but I honestly, you should have let him finish out that half because he has that gel. Yeah, it's dump off passes, but he's worked with those guys since he came, that now you dumb down that playbook. And that's the piece that I think Doug is missing. Doug is overthinking that offensive playbook. When you have rookies or you have fucking Mack Hollins out there starting a wide receiver, like you got to know what you're working with, dumb down that playbook and just put the ball in Wentz's hands. Let him make those quick throws, those quick dump offs, and run the fucking ball. Run the ball, and then run it again, and then dump off, and then run it more. That bothered the hell out of me. You have Jordan Howard back there. What are you doing?
Very disappointed by the lack of Jordan Howard use over the last 2 weeks.
So am I. I agree.
Agreed. That's why we got him, right? To be a big back just to pound that line.
And then you got Miles Sanders make it. Oh, go ahead, Mike.
It seemed like he's getting chunks when he is getting the ball. You know.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's like they put him in and then they take him out and like listen. I still think that Sanders has a big upside, but I think that we've seen in the early going with the way the line is right now because they're without Deshaun especially. And having somebody to open the field up, they're bringing another guy or two down into the box, so you don't necessarily have all the holes you were going to have, and maybe you need a bruiser in there instead of a slasher at this point, until the offense looks normal again whenever Deshaun comes back. But I totally agree.
Deshaun, he got about 2 more weeks. Was that what they were saying?
Yeah. What I looked up earlier was that he's just going to be out for maybe. He's not playing Thursday, but he might be with the Jets.
And then is any word on? I haven't been paying attention today. I've been doing other stuff. Any word on Jeffrey playing?
He looks promising. They said he looks good for Thursday, so that's going to open up a whole playbook right there. At least get the long ball, sideline. There's high passes that Wentz likes to throw. He's going to catch them every time.
I saw Carson throw a couple jump balls last week that I feel like would have got caught if it was Jeffrey.
Yeah, agreed.
Are we as a fan base, and I don't mean we as in the 4 guys here, but I mean as a whole, because I'm sure y'all have listened to some sports radio over the last couple of weeks. Are we killing Carson a little bit too much?
Yes, 100%. Yeah.
I'm not. I'm all about Carson still. I know a lot of people hate
the fan base in general, though. The
fan base in general, yeah. I mean, but they shouldn't. He had actually a way better game against Detroit than he did against Atlanta. Just look at the stats. I wrote it down just to look at it. 259 yards, 2 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. He lost the game because it what was it, 3 fumbles? We got 1 back, and then they'll drop passes. It's just ridiculous. He was 94%, but it could have been 98 if people just called a couple more passes. I see Bill laughing at me.
I am laughing. I
had to write this stuff down.
No, that's cool. No, I'm not laughing at the fact that you used numbers for once. I laugh at the fact I'm laughing at the question because, you go back and you watch the Falcons game, you watch the Lions game, and you can find at least 5 plays that Carson missed somebody. And with that contract, he's getting elite money. So you miss 2, you miss 3, that's cool. But those other 2, like that throw of Mack Hollins, where that ball's going to be outside in the end zone. He makes that catch, you have a touchdown, and he throws it behind him. Like that, you get paid too much damn money to miss those throws. And some of the ball mistakes, where he's making these throws, it reminds me of Donovan in a way. I'm not the biggest Carson fan. I will admit that. I don't like the injury history with young quarterbacks getting hurt as much as he does. That always scares me. The money they gave him instantly made me think of the Tannehills and the Matt Staffords and all those average to slightly above average quarterbacks that get way overpaid. I have hope, but he's missing those elite plays, and for the money he's making, I would hope that you would make those kind of plays.
He missed a easy touchdown pass to, I think it was Goddard last game.
Yeah.
He decided, I think he went to the right side and Goddard was coming across and he was in. It was a short, easy pass and it would have been an easy touchdown. And I think that was the second one. There was a couple of that I think he decisions that he made. I kind of chalk that stuff up to, and I don't know a lot. Like I rely on you guys for routes and schemes and numbers and stuff, but it seems to me like with these last 2 weeks, it's kind of a weird because the system is not what. I'm sorry, not the system. The play. He's not playing with players that he's used to playing with, and everything's kind of gotten a little topsy turvy. Now the game 2, I give it more of a pass. Game 3, you should have time to prepare, and so yeah, I understand that. So that actually go ahead, Mike. You had something.
I think I agree with that, but at the same time, like here's the way I'm looking at these last couple games. Especially the Detroit Lions game, lost a game by 3, and even had a chance to win it in the end. If we lose that by 3, now take away the 2 fumbles that we lost, and then take away what did they drop 7 passes? Even if they catch 4 of them, take those 2 fumbles away. We're talking about a 10-point victory, and then we're talking about how he played a really good game. Now I will admit. I agree with you. He does miss some throws here and there, but I kind of chalk that up, and maybe I'm being too much of an apologist, but we watch the Eagles every week. We watch every play. We can, we're seeing everything that they do, so everything is a little bit more under the microscope. And I'm kind of thinking that if we watch a Patriots game, we're going to see Tom Brady miss some throws. Now, granted, not anywhere near as many as the rest of the quarterbacks in the league, because that dude's probably the greatest quarterback of all time, but still, he's not going to have a perfect game either. I think sometimes we maybe over-scrutinize a little just because we witness all of it. We see all the holes in our team because we see it every week. We're looking at another team and we only see like a small sample section because we only see them when they play us or when they're playing the primetime game. We actually get to watch another team. But they might have a great game that week, and not have any mistakes. And we think, oh, why can't we just be like that team? We watch our team all the time. So maybe that's why we're a little bit more nitpicky about what we're seeing with the Eagles. Now, I'm not absolving them of all their sins by any stretch. I'm just saying, I don't know. Carson didn't play Superman elite, these past couple weeks, but I think he played well enough to win. That's all I'm saying.
Do you guys think it has to do with not playing in any preseason games? All our starters didn't play. You don't think they didn't get the jitters out, just get the legs moving? Could be something wrong with Cox because he didn't get the reps in. Just all practice, and they know the schemes because they're just moving around, but not actually in a real game.
I think that those guys are veteran enough where they don't need those there's 4 series, 2 whole series throughout the preseason. I mean, they got practice to get used to each other for all that stuff.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that does bring me to something that I did want to ask about because I talked about this with Sean earlier before the game this week. And so they had the injuries. Monday after a game is usually a walkthrough. Tuesday is a practice, Wednesday is a practice, Thursday, and Friday they usually do like a light practice, right? So they canceled practice on that one. Was it a Wednesday? I think they canceled that practice.
Yeah.
And I don't think that they did much the week before. So I think they only had a 1 full day of practice this whole week, and I think that with all those backups going, and I can't see that being a good idea to just cancel a whole practice and have basically what comes down to 1 whole day of actual practice, and then Friday. Now I guess nobody was there, but so we don't know. But typically they usually do like a light practice on a Friday.
I mean, like I was saying to you, is it's tough to practice when everybody's hurt.
Right, but you have to get those guys that aren't hurt work that are going to be playing.
Yeah, right. I mean, I guess that's what he was thinking, trying to get everybody recover from, the game on Sunday, and he maybe do more playbook watching, video watching, just discuss what's going on and what they expect, types of things. We don't know what actually happened behind the scenes. They wouldn't probably go to the field and practice, but they probably had some kind of meetings and, something like that.
Well, they canceled they full practice, and they did like I think they did film and walkthroughs and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, that might be what they thought they needed to do. And I mean, if you look at Sunday, they didn't look really terrible.
They didn't look like they practiced, though.
They didn't look like they had practiced either, but they didn't look horrible for a team who just lost an inning in practice. They still looked good, But
so I was telling Kyle's I'm at soccer practice from my older ones, so there's soccer moms everywhere. So I'm a little distracted, but are we talking about practice?
Practice.
Practice?
Not
We're
a game.
talking
Talk
we're
about
talking about
Not a
practice.
game.
not a
So,
game.
Practice is practice, but they do these walkthroughs, right? And I don't know if you guys have ever seen a walkthrough or you know anything of the walkthroughs that they talk about, but a walkthrough is all about knowing where you're supposed to be and what you're doing. The timing's not there, but the guy knows where he's supposed to be. And I don't think that practice, I don't think the walkthrough, I don't think any of that hurt them as a team. For me, and I'm going to put it goes to Carson, and I can't let that go only because when you watch these games and that he'll make a bad throw or a complete pass or whatever, and they always show the replay and they'll say, oh look, all the wide receivers recovered, highlighting how good the defense was, and all that I can see is that back or that tight end that's wide open in the flat, wide open on the quick spot, and he's not looking there. He's looking at his first and second read. He's that great, I want people to know my name and I want to make that throw. Just take what the defense gives you and carve them up. And yeah, you win by 3, you win by 18, whatever the case is. They always say, and you always hear, we talk about Brady, Tom Brady. He always says, take what the defense gives you. It's what you always hear. It's cliche, but that's ultimately what you have to do, and that's how you win games.
I'm going to tell you what bothers me a little bit, and I don't know what you guys' opinions are on it, but I'm going back to, at very least, even the Super Bowl year, and maybe before that. I can't remember exactly how good or how bad it was the year before that, but Eagles are getting injured at an alarming rate over the last couple seasons. Especially the last 3 years. Like I said, even going back to that Super Bowl year, man, it's just people dropping like flies. And I understand that it's an NFL season and you're going to have injuries and stuff, but I'm pretty sure that the Eagles and the Redskins were number 1, 2 as far as like how many different starters got injured or how many different injuries altogether that they had throughout the course of the season. And so far this season, I got to imagine that they're, again, somewhere near the top of the list. Super Bowl year, they win it without their quarterback, without Jason Peters, without Darren Sproles, without, this guy, that guy. I mean, they had how many guys that were out, they were at least able to overcome that year. But what do you think? What do you think's going on health-wise with these guys? Do you think it's just bad luck? Do you think it's a lot of guys with bad genes that are just injury-prone? Or do you think there's something going on in the training program that has them not ready?
It could be. Do you remember last year when there was some controversy about, and I don't want to mess this up, but I can't exactly remember, but it was something about their medical staff had kind of something about Carson's back, and they had approved him when they were hiding from him the fact that something else was wrong. I forget exactly what happened, but there was some shit, like shady shit going on with their medical staff, and that could. I mean, I don't know if they got new people after that, but yeah, that stuff seems to be part on their health and medical staff.
Yeah. Now, what was it? Wentz not talking about his back pain, where they saw something and they didn't tell him about it?
I think that's.
No,
I think
It
that's
was kind of both,
Yeah,
right?
No, he had the fracture in his back, and they didn't pick it up the first time. So they were like, "Yeah, you're good. Go ahead out." And then he hurt his back again. And then when they did the X-ray, I think it was, that's where they found the small fracture. And there was lots of like rumors and talk that they didn't tell him or they knew about it the first time or whatever the case is. But I remember in the off season this year, the big thing was they had a new training staff that they were bringing in, like new team doctor, new everything. But injuries are injuries, right? It happens all over the place. I mean, how many starting quarterbacks have already gone down, and we're either going to say, well, it's because they didn't play in the preseason, or the medical staff, or whatever the case is. So for me, the injuries are just, I work in an office, and I've tripped and scraped my arm, almost broke my ankle once in a parking lot. Like, injuries just happen.
Hey, Bill, your connection's breaking up a little bit.
It happens to everybody. All right, I'll set.
What? You what?
I'll fix that. Hold on.
All right.
As Bill builds a new tower for his cell phone. What was that private note there you got, Kyle? Is that a special news? Something hot coming in?
I'm waiting for my medical insurance. Yeah.
Breaking news.
No, it was just some fucking letter I was waiting for. Yeah. Right. He's back. So I want to talk about Mack Hollins for a second. When he came out last week in the middle of the week, and I don't know if you guys heard what he said, that he would rather play on the special teams than be a starter. I'm not a big fan of unconfident sports players. I don't know about you guys. And then I see him making these, like, they're down, okay? They're not playing well. He gets like a 5-yard pass, and he gets up and he does his little fucking backpack thing, and he saunters off the. That dude rubs me the wrong way, man. I don't know what you guys think of him, but.
Oh, so we're on to the what grinds your gears? Okay.
He grinds my gears. Yeah, he had 2 offensive pass interference calls too, right? And then he had one. He had one that they called that they repealed, or that they thought was one, and then they actually turned out not to be. But from what I understand, that was one. I don't know the rules, but
the rule is it was only 1 yard off the line of scrimmage, and you're allowed to pull somebody over. I think only a yard, but since they were at the goal line, basically anything went as long as it was in front of the goal line. So that now I don't know if he was smart enough to know that. If he was
not,
then it was a great play. But if he didn't know, then it was just him being a goon and getting lucky.
When you watch, if you watch like the boxing or fighting and stuff like that, and you see like a guy come out, in the interview before the match, and he's saying, "Yeah, the only other guy's good. I don't know if I could beat him." Like, you gonna put money down on that guy? Probably not. You got a guy who's jumping up to play in the starters, and he's saying, "Yeah, I'd rather be a backup, and I'd rather play on special teams." That's not good.
Because being a starter is a lot of work. I don't like it.
Yeah, I didn't see it that way at all. It's funny that you mention it that way, in like a confidence thing. Like, for me, I thought he was just saying he knows what he's good at. He knows what he is. He's not a wide receiver. He's a special teamer. And he's a good special teams player. He makes good tackles. He knows what he's good at. He's like, all right, I'll play this role, but I don't know if you want me here because this isn't what I'm good at. I'm good at special teams.
Okay, so there's a difference between knowing your limitations and then being interviewed and saying that on camera to all the people that want your team and want to see players that are in there, that if you're not, so he knows his limitations, but if you're not, playing to be the best, then like, what's the point?
He wants to be the best special teamers. He knows what he is.
I agree.
If you think about it, like
on that one, man, like Kyle, for instance, what am I bad at? Do you know what I'm bad at? No, you don't. I never told you.
Yeah, using your pinky when you're playing guitar.
There you go.
Thank God you added the guitar part. Jesus.
That's a whole nother episode.
It's a different,
whole different podcast.
Yeah.
But so
dark.
right. But so the Steelers traded for Minkah Fitzpatrick. Everybody knows who Minkah Fitzpatrick is, right? Fitzpatrick, I think. And he's a hell of a secondary guy. And he came out and said, just play me at one spot. I know what I'm good at. I'm a safety. I'm not a corner. I'll play it, but I'm not good at it. And he said it. So what's the difference? He's on the Steelers. Tomlin comes out and says, you're going to play this one spot. And he's like, thank fucking God, I'm only playing one spot. Well, that's how I took it. Is same thing with Mac. Mac knows I'm not making big ass catches. I can't fight anybody for a ball. I'm good at what I do. Let me do what I do.
I think it's the way he said it is, basically like, yeah, I don't want to do this. I'd rather do that. If you said Fitzpatrick was like, look, I'm great at this, and I just want to stay and do that because I know I could be the best. If he says like I could be the best special teamer, and you know what I mean, like, but I'll work on being a receiver or whatever. You know what I mean? Like if he said he was going to work on it and try to be better, that would be
It's just that
real quick, dudes. I don't mean to cut y'all. I got to jump out. I got to bounce out and let you guys finish this one off on your own. I got to
go get your waxing.
Yeah, I got to go use my piggy. All right. But listen, anyways, have a good one. Good talking to you guys. Nice meeting you. And go Birds.
Go Birds.
Go Birds.
See you later.
Later, bud. All right. And then there were 3. All right. So the last thing I just wanted to say was like, it's just that combined with him doing the little strut dancing after like irrelevant plays where they're down, they're not playing good. And it kind of rubs me the wrong way.
See, I have a hard time with players to do that anyway.
And that's just not him.
Ball,
yeah, not just him. Any player
doing that, whatever they do. Look, if you caught like it's 25 and 4th down with 2 seconds left on the clock, and you catch a winning touchdown, then you celebrate all you want. Where you get that first down, you got out of that bounds with 1 second, we kick the ball and we win the game. You celebrate. But when you catch the ball, good for you. That's your job. You're supposed to do that. Act like you've been there before. That's kind of like the class I like of a player.
I like the celebrating if they're in a situation where they're trying to pump everybody up and they're on a drive, like when Selleck, when he would catch that first down play and he'd do the fucking. But that's he wouldn't do that every fucking time that they had a first down.
But see, that's what I'm getting at. Catch, exactly like that. Just to get everybody hyped, but he knew when to do it on big plays.
I'm not. I actually enjoy. I wish they would bring back excessive celebrating. I enjoy the shit out of it. I love when they do the fucking bow and they can't do that shit anymore. I mean, it's a game. You should celebrate when you do something awesome. But you gotta pick your spots.
I'm kind of tired of the whole end zone dancing with the whole team.
I enjoy it, especially if they do something clever. It's just, I mean, it's fun. It's a game. It's fun.
It was fun last year. Now I'm like, I just seen the same thing over and over again.
Anyway, Matt Collins is a bum. Back to the Eagles. We have
a hell of a special teamer.
we have a short week coming up against maybe you guys could tell me. Green Bay's Green Bay. They're always a threat with Aaron Rodgers. This year, I haven't been paying attention much to them. I'm just assuming that are they 2-1? Are they 3-0?
They're 3-0.
3-0. Yeah, their defense is up there now. They woke up this year. I don't know what they did on difference.
They didn't wake up. They went out and got some help. They got some free.
Well, I didn't know who they.
What they normally never do. They went out. They spent money on the defense. They improved, and they're solid. They're solid.
Yeah. So that's why I'm a little nervous.
Yeah, I was going to ask how you guys feeling about this game where we're not looking good. We have a banged up offense. Our defense is a goddamn sponge, and I shouldn't say Swiss cheese. And now we're playing a really good team on a short week. It's not looking good, and we definitely have the potential to go down 1-3.
Right, and you can't count us out either. Still, if we lose 3 games, we're still in it. Like it's a long season. But I mean, hopefully Jeffrey shows up, opens up that defense a little bit with the speed, and maybe Ertz would get the ball a little bit, and a couple other guys. What's his name? White Hood. What was his name?
White Snake.
All right, Snake on Whiteside.
Whiteside, yeah.
It's one of those
black guy who's white. I mean, maybe we'll open him up and give him the confidence of catching some short passes in and out. Get on the sideline, get first downs, But I don't know. I just hope they use their running game that we never haven't done really. I mean, I just like to see Howard pound it like for 2 downs, 3 downs, just 5 yards, just pound it. Tire that defense out. It just opens up everything. Maybe it gives the offensive line some time to handle the defense, where they can give Carson Wentz some time to throw deep or move her out of the pocket and stuff like that. Carson Wentz doesn't have any time. He's always running.
He doesn't really have anybody to throw deep to.
Well, right. But
Bill,
maybe with Jeffries.
Your insights?
I don't. Without Deshaun, there's no point in the long ball. I think the thing that I noticed when the Super Bowl year, because now we get a reference to Super Bowl championship year, which is not I love saying that, so I'm just going to say it every chance I get. But when Foles came in after Wentz went down, Doug changed the playbook and ran plays that Nick felt comfortable with. And I think that for me, the adjustment that needs to be made. So on Sports Talk Radio, you're hearing, go get Jalen Ramsey, even go trade for Melvin Gordon at this point. Bring in help, get something. For me, it's you don't need to do that. Guys are going to get healthy. You need to just win games. And we didn't get blown out by Atlanta. We didn't get blown out by Detroit. I don't know if we're going to get blown out here by Green Bay because they're installing a new offense. But for me, it's if you're Doug, you need to have that conversation with Carson of, dude, Doug, just chill. What do we need to do here? What do we need to run? Keep it simple. Keep it short. Let's just do what we do and run the ball, and then run the ball again, and go from there. Sean, I think giving Arcega-Whiteside those short passes, give him that confidence of, hey man, you just catch the ball, get out of bounds, little quick dump offs just to make some moves. Keep giving the ball to Miles Sanders and get him his confidence back with fumbles. Westbrook fumbled, Shady fumbled. That works itself out through reps and through practice. But for me, it's I'm just watching this play calling, and I'm like, dude, Carson can't be doing this with a 1, 2, 3, third, fourth, and fifth wide receiver and a first and a third string tight end. It just doesn't. It's not good. And 2 running backs, and Howard and Sanders, who this is their first year in the system. You got to dumb it down, keep it simple, and go from there.
I agree. Many points, good points.
Did you guys hear the press conference when they asked Peterson something about what can you do to improve the focus? He's like, focus. Yeah, catch the damn ball.
Yeah, I didn't see that.
It's easy. At this point, you can't teach that. You're supposed to already know that shit. That's just fundamentals.
Yeah.
And I get that you're gonna drop passes, but man, to see it happen that much. So who's up with the offensive line? Who's going to be playing this? Did the guy that went down, did he come back again? I'm blanking on the name right now.
No, he's hamstring. I think he's out for a couple of games.
Okay.
What was his name?
Did you write that? You wrote it down?
I did. I have an injury list here.
He is the coach. You should have that injury list.
Yeah, Darby.
Darby's sick.
Dillard.
Darby's not the offensive line.
Dillard.
Dillard's okay. I was confused with the two. Yeah, Dillard's okay. Peters has just had nausea, but he came back fine. So I think I think the heat on Sunday just got to him. Dehydration.
Peters is old as shit.
But would you say that to his face?
Games.
I wouldn't say that to his face.
Yeah, I would, because by the time I saw him, he'd probably be in another one of those little wheel walker scooters.
That man walking.
A rascal. Yeah, man, that really stinks. He's a legend. He's gonna always be fucking, a favorite around here. But a lot of teams don't do that thing that we do in Philadelphia a lot with all our teams, and we keep guys around far too long because they're fan favorites. The Flyers are fucking notorious for doing that kind of shit, and I feel like if Bill Belichick was coaching this team, Peters would have been gone probably a few years ago, and they probably would have brought somebody newer and better in.
It's funny you say that that we keep them past their prime yet. All I can think about is Trotter going to Washington and having some solid years. Think about Reggie White going to Green Bay. He didn't even try to keep him. Brian Dawkins had 2 solid years in Denver. So I don't know about that. I think it was more Peters is still around because they didn't have anybody else.
Well, I think those guys all left because their contracts were up and they didn't want to give them the money, right?
Yeah, Dawkins was definitely money.
So it's a little different than having somebody around, especially since they don't seem to have anybody in the system. I mean, as far as I know, again, you guys pay attention to that stuff more than I do, but somebody coming up to replace them, because it doesn't seem like Vitai's the fucking, the answer to that.
I mean, we definitely need somebody in the secondary to help out.
That's true.
They're just letting everybody just run by them. There's nobody fast enough or seasoned enough to help the defense out in the secondary. So I don't know who we could get. I don't want to spend a lot of money, but I think we probably have to.
Bill, you said you weren't about replacing fixing these problems by bringing in new players. What do you think about the Ramsey situation, though? Would you be for
Ramsey's different?
Yeah.
Come on, Ramsey's different. I would give them, if they called me and they're like, all right, what's your best offer? You can have 2 first-round picks. I'll throw in Dallas Goedert. You can have Mack Hollins. You can have Aguilar and any one of my running backs. I don't care who pick one.
A couple cheesesteaks with onions.
Because the thing is that anything. I don't care what. I'll even send you Wentz if you want to send me Foles back, just because that Ramsey is that special of a. He's not like, if you look at all the big name like free agents cornerbacks, right? So we got Nnamdi Asomugha, right? Nnamdi's amazing. Nnamdi's not fucking amazing. Nnamdi played one side of the field. He was the only talented back that Oakland had, and they never threw the ball his way, so he's fine. Josh Norman is a zone corner. He stays where he stays. But Jalen Ramsey, he has shut down DeAndre Hopkins. He has shut down T.Y. Hilton. He is that corner that you're like, we're playing Atlanta. Julio, find him, cover him. I don't give a shit about the rest. Now I can plan a defense of 10 guys because I know that that wide receiver is done. He's covered. So when you're talking like an Amari Cooper that we're going to face towards the year, nah, I'm good. Jalen, just you cover Amari. I'll stack the box against Zeke, and let's see what you got, Dak.
I'm forgetting him too, and I don't think that they'd have to give up all those players that the whole roster that you just mentioned. Definitely, whatever.
It's like the Bears and Mike Dick did. Just one guy out there. That's all you need.
So the argument would be like, do you want to give up a first round? But if you draft in a first round, you're going to be drafting one of those needs anyway. So why not give up that pick and just get the best player in that fucking position in the world right now?
Plus, when's the last time we drafted in the first round?
Yeah.
Right. Besides Carson, when's the last time the Eagles actually used the first round draft pick?
Chip Kelly.
They always trade down. And you stack up. Yeah, Chip Kelly. Yeah, look how that worked out.
Mm-hmm. What was that guy's name again? I don't remember that fucking guy's name. What was it? That fucking guy that he picked at a yeah, see, nobody remembers his name.
Marcus Smith.
Yeah.
It was Marcus Smith.
That fucking bust.
Chip Kelly.
What a bum.
As much as we all love Foles, I think that Chip Kelly gets like what's the opposite of a statue? Like a Chip Kelly porta potty or something.
It gets a Jello mold.
They planted a tree in his honor. Here's a tree.
God, I mean, he did give us Ertz. That's about all I can say about that. But and Fletch, did he give us Cox too?
I think wasn't Cox?
No, I don't think so.
No, that was Andy Reid, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think.
Yeah, I don't remember. So cool. So it doesn't seem like any of us are confident about Thursday, which is great.
Well, just by looking at what's happening and how good Green Bay looks, it's tough. And it's in Green Bay. If we were home, I would feel a little bit better, but Green Bay's tough. Luckily, it's early in the season, so.
I want to touch on one last thing, and then we'll end this. The Dallas Cowboys. played 3 high school teams over the last 3 weeks. They're 0-3, and I don't know about you guys, but
they're 3-0.
Yeah, I'm sorry, 3-0. Yeah, they're I'm getting a little sick of all the fucking Cowboys fans coming out of the woodwork now.
Well, of course, they win one game, and that's what they do. You
guys
win?
The same thing with the Patriots. The Patriots basically get handed a division championship every year because the Dolphins suck, and who else is in their division? Buffalo. Is it the
Miami
Jets?
And Jets.
No. And the Jets, yeah.
Yeah, okay. So they basically feast off their division. It's like a all-you-can-eat-win buffet.
Pretty much.
And we're gonna have fun with that week, but I hope we're a little bit better by the time we play the Patriots.
As long as we're healthy, I think we'll be fine.
Yeah, hope.
And then there were 2.
I think maybe he got pissed off that we were talking about the Cowboys and he just left.
No, it sucks because when you get another phone call, it like pauses everything.
Oh yeah.
It's like, take this suspected spam call over the one you're actively engaged in for the last however long.
So my point was going to be that we're not looking good, but we do have a lot of potential, and we're in a division that's it's basically us and Dallas. Dallas looks immensely better than us right now, but like I said, because they're playing fucking Canadian Football League teams, and we're playing. We beat the Redskins and the Giants. We're not playing fucking elite, but they're a little better than the Giants.
If we had that schedule they had, we could be
and we do have a rough schedule, I think, this year. Yeah. With the Packers and Patriots and off the top of my head, I can't remember who else are playing. I have to look at it. Sean, do you have it in your notes?
No.
Oh, then shut the fuck up.
The Bills and the Jets.
We get Jets week 5, right?
That should be good. So
we get the AFC East.
Our saving grace might be that when Dallas starts hopefully showing their colors against some of these better teams, and then we start improving, and we'll have a more even run for the division, and hopefully at least like a wild card or something. I know Dallas does look like, they do look good, even though they play 3 shitty teams. But fuck them.
I'm not gonna say I agree with you, but I'm not gonna disagree with you.
So predictions for Thursday?
Eagles win by a field goal.
Ooh, ballsy.
Doing it.
Does anybody know the line? I don't know if you guys bet. What's the line for Thursday?
Oh, you know what? Let me check it out.
Yeah, bring up the line. So I will say that don't discredit Buffalo. I think that they're gonna be right there with the Patriots all year. That they have one of the top defenses in the league, and nobody ever talks about them, and that's awesome. They need it. Dallas will win the NFC East. I hate it, but I don't know how you go against it. Their defense is soft, but with that offensive line, 2 solid running backs, Witten's back as a tight end, so he catches whatever. But you have Amari Cooper and you have Gallup as wide receivers, and Dak who can run and make throws. And now they're up, they have a 2-game lead, so it's going to be tough to catch them with the injuries that we have. But again, Dak could go down, Zeke could blow out his knee, and anything could happen.
I'll tell you what would go a long way in catching them is beating them fucking twice.
That will definitely help.
That would do it. That would totally do it.
You used the wrong word there. You said catch, and we're not doing a very good job of that right now.
It's true. Oh, man.
It looks like the Eagles are 4.5 favorites.
Really?
Yeah. I'll take the pack and the points.
Yeah. Seems like a good bet. I mean, I wouldn't do it because I don't want to bet against the Eagles, but...
You know what? As an Eagles fan, you kind of have to if you're going to win.
Well, that's
what's
why
the over-under?
I don't gamble anyway. just with my life.
Like I on my card, I picked the family pool I'm in. They have you pick them. So the guy's from Michigan, so he's a Detroit fan, lifelong season ticket holder. Anyway, he put 9.5 points to Detroit. And I was like, well, I'm going to go with Detroit. Even if the Eagles could win by 1, I'd be happy, but you got to go points.
Well, what's the over and under with the Packers game?
The Packers? Oh, let me check.
You thought Bill was asking you the over/under for last week's game?
Yeah, I don't give a shit about last week's game.
Sorry.
With your front runner family over there.
Yeah, I got 10 picks this week. That's pretty good. And that you care.
God, it's so easy to be a fucking Patriots fan, isn't it?
Dude, try living up here. Over, under, let's see. It says 110. Money lines.
No, that's the money line.
And the money lines, Philly is plus 175, 72. This, let's see, over, 110. What is this? What the fuck?
All right, well then I'll take the Packers in the under.
Yeah, right?
All right, well.
Anyway, that's nonsense.
We'll end this at that, and hopefully, we will do this. Bill, I try to do this every week, so, you're always welcome to come on. Eventually,
good.
I want to try and, get roll through, different people, but, as long as we can get, at least 4 people on. It's hard to do, I know, with everybody's schedule, so there should always be space. So thanks for coming on. Sean, thanks for coming on.
Yeah.
And hopefully we do this again next week after a solid win.
Let's go Birds.
Sounds good.
Go Birds.
Caw.
Caw. All right.
EATLES Eagles!